up, everybody? I'm going to do a classic rock reaction. This is Rush, man. Rush Cygnus X1. And highly requested song. Many of you, man, just a few of you here, but many of you have requested this time in the game. And I know that it's a two-parter. This is the first part, the voyage, I believe, and then the second part, hemispheres, is yet to come. So I'm just going to react to the first part here, and then hemispheres will follow immediately after. Thanks very much to William Casey. William, thanks very much, man, for sending me the link. I appreciate that. I also appreciate all of you, the way you guys kind of go back and forth in the comments, you know, the way you're talking about this. Oh man, it's an odyssey, you know, he's got to play this first and then this and then this. I just love the little banter back and forth in the comments. That's excellent. Anyway, but with that banter, I just wanted to say that you guys kind of spoiled it a little bit. I know that this is a song about an outer space voyage and this person getting into trouble, I guess trapped in a black hole or something like that. So when you're, you know, bantering back and forth with each other, remember, I don't always know, but now I know because I've been reading your comments and I've gathered enough information to know what the gist of the song is about. I prefer to not know, just so that I can have a nice blank slate and whatnot. But hey, you know, sometimes shit happens and it's okay. It's still definitely worthy of a reaction, I'm sure. So let's get this poppin', man. Rush Cygnus X1, The Voyage. Let's get it. In the mourning for their sister's loss. Nevermore to grace the night. I love this slow build up, you know? Lets you know something epic's coming.
Invisible to telescopic eye, infinity, the star that would not die. Who dare to cross a path, unswallowed by a fearsome past, through the void to be destroyed, or is there something more? At the demise, at the core, or through the astral door, to
Or through the astral door to soar. Yeah, that's describing the black hole.
I said a course just east of Lyra, northwest of Pegasus, flew into the light of Dennis, sailed across the Milky Way, on my ship the Rocinante, wheeling through the galaxies, headed for the heart of Cygnus, headlong into mystery. X-ray is a siren song, my ship cannot resist along, nearer to my deadly goal until the black hole gains control.
Nearer to my deadly goal. So his goal is to go through the black hole, or go past it. Maybe he's got to go past it to get to his destination. really makes you visualize what they're going through right now, trying to avoid that black hole, doesn't it? I'm seeing a whole bunch of things in my mind's eye. This is great musicianship. When it can just make you conjure up things in your mind and you don't need lyrics and vocals. These guys were amazing. Spinning and whirling is being pulled in. This music is tripping me. Geddy Lee's voice. I am so used to his voice now. I totally embrace it. Okay, that's it. Yeah, man, that leaves you hanging. But I knew what to expect because this is part one, the voyage, and then it'll be followed by part two. So, okay, no surprise that it leaves you hanging. Yo. That is a great example of masterful creativity, progressive rock, creative artistic manners of expression allowed back then that we just don't seem to have in our artists today. I think that the artists are probably just as capable creatively, but for some reason, someone is not allowing it to happen. The record industry, the music industry, the execs, whoever the big wigs are up there pulling strings, they're not allowing the artists of today the ability to create masterful pieces of work like this. And that's criminal. Make it happen. Allow your artists to be able to create masterful works of art. Give them creative freedom that Rush had, that Led Zeppelin had. And you will be pleasantly surprised, not just on a creative level, but also on a financial level. You're going to make money either way. I know you're putting restrictions on the artists of today because because you have a format and that you want to make money, but you're going to make money regardless. Let the artists of today have the creative freedom required to create masterful works of art like this. I'm more convinced now in my almost 8 months of doing classic rock reactions that the music of today is squelched not because of the artists, but because of the industry itself. Allow the artist the creative freedom to create masterful works like this. All right? Sorry, that was a little rant right off the top. I had to get it off my chest because as I'm listening to this awesome tune, it's being overshadowed by a little bit of, damn, why can't music of today be this good? Well, it can be. I am fully convinced it's not the artist. It's the industry. Enough of that rant. I'm going to move on. Let's get into the song now. first off, thank you very much again to William Casey. Thank you for sending me this link, man. Appreciate it. And thank you to a number of you who were bantering back and forth in the comment sections, because I was reading your comments, and unfortunately I got probably the overall gist of what this song was about. So be really, really careful in the comments, because you might be spoiling a few things, just so you know. Here's another example. While I'm doing my Led Zeppelin 3 reactions right now, I did a Gallows Pole reaction, and someone sent me a link without any kind of title. And of course I clicked on the link, and it turned out to be Gallows Pole performed by Page and Plant. I believe it was in 94 or 97 or whatever. So then I realized that what it was, and then I'm like, oh my God. But it was too late. I've been spoiled, you know. So I started to watch it, and then about a quarter way into it, I was so enthralled, but I stopped myself from watching the rest, and I said, okay, I'm going to turn this into a reaction right now. So I turned the lights on, and I just started to make this a reaction. But be really careful with me when you send me things, especially when it's just a link and it's not titled, and I start clicking on it and I watch it, and then I realize, so I can, you can spoil it for me, right? So just be careful about that when you're sending me things, especially if it's not titled. If it's titled, usually what I'll do is I'll immediately press download and send it directly into a folder, which is then attached to my calendar for reactions down the road. So it bypasses me actually seeing the content and that sort of thing. But sometimes I get these links sent to me, and I can either see the title and click off right away, but sometimes I don't and I get spoiled. So be really, really careful with that, okay? Whoever it was that sent me that link to Page and Plant Gallows Pole, you kind of spoiled it, man. So just be careful. Anyway, man, let's get back to this song. This was excellent, man. Wow. Creative expressions at its absolute finest. Rush again, tight musicianship. Great lyrics, great vocals. It tells an incredible story. And even if I wasn't spoiled about the plot, I would have picked it up, mentioning the stars, the constellation, the Northern Cross, flash of glory. So a lot of these things will give you an idea that it's some voyage going through outer space, and of course going through the turmoil of being sucked into a black hole. Now, I got to listen to this a few more times and then get the lyrics up, because I can't tell if this person or persons are looking to go through the black hole, or if their destination lies beyond the black hole, but they have to pass the black hole and hope not to get sucked into it before they reach their destination. That's what I'm kind of unsure about. But in any case, what I get overall is that this person, in the first little bits, it was speaking about lost of their sister. So I'm thinking maybe there was lives lost, and now they're going out in search for help, or for answers, or for ways to prevent further loss of life, maybe on their home world, something like that. But they have to travel to a certain destination, and then they encounter the black hole, or their destination is going through the black hole and beyond. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because overall this took me on a trip, man. This was fantastic. This kind of creative songwriting, man. It's sad to say that these were the good old days of creative songwriting, isn't it? I know that there is still some great creative songwriting out there, but this concentrated pocket of the classic rock era, man, they were just sprinkled and blessed with all kinds of creativity. And man, I just hope that we see a resurgence, another renaissance age of this kind of creativity again. I believe that the key lies in the hands of the record company, the record industry. Okay, let's do a super quick read, man, on Rush, and then just a little quick read on the song itself, and go from there. So Rush. Rush was a Canadian rock band comprising Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart. Formed in '68, the band went through several configurations until arriving at its longest and most popular lineup when Peart replaced original drummer John Retzi in July '74. They had neglected to come up with a name for their group until John Retzi's older brother yelled, "You're always on the go, why don't you call the band Rush?" Rush is known for its musicianship, complex compositions, and eclectic lyrical motives, drawing heavily on science fiction, fantasy, and philosophy. The band's musical style has changed several times over the years, from a blues-inspired hard rock beginning, later moving into progressive rock. They are among the most proficient players on their respective instruments, with each band member winning numerous awards in magazines' readers' polls. Several industry sources estimated Rush's total worldwide album sales at over 40 million units as of 2017. The group has been awarded 24 gold, 14 platinum, and 3 multi-platinum albums. Excellent. And they were inducted in the Hall of Fame. Okay, Cygnus X1. Cygnus X1 is a 2-part song series by Canadian progressive rock band Rush. The first part, Book 1, The Voyage, is the last song on the 1977 album A Farewell to Kings, and the second part, Book 2, Hemispheres, is the first song on the following album, 1978's Hemispheres. Book 1 is 10 minutes and 25 seconds long, and Book 2 is 18 minutes and 7 seconds long. Okay. A black hole known as Cygnus X1, an X-ray source believed to be an actual black hole, lies in the constellation Cygnus. An explorer aboard the spaceship Resenate journeys toward the black hole, believing there may be something beyond it. As he moves closer, it becomes increasingly difficult to control the ship, and he's eventually drawn in by the pull of gravity. Excuse all the background noise, man. It's 4:30 a.m., but my neighbors are up, making all kinds of damn noise. I live in a triplex. I'm in the middle, and I'm flanked by 2 young families, young kids. So, yeah, good luck with that. I'll be moving soon. All right, where was I? The final words of Book 1 describe his ordeal. Sound and fury drown my heart. Every nerve is torn apart. Book 1, The Voyage. So the prologue starts with a dissonant electronic soundscape and spoken introduction by the album producer Terry Brown. Afterwards, a heavily syncopated bass riff in shifting time signatures fades in with the full band joining in as the introductory sound effects fade out. The shortest section of the song describes the black hole itself and asks the question of what happens to someone who flies into it. The protagonist sails into the black hole on board his ship. This section contains a wah-wah guitar solo by Alex Lifeson. The climactic section of Book 1 uses a chord sequence first heard in the prologue. The lyrics describe the ship spinning out of control and the protagonist's body being destroyed. Every nerve is torn apart. This section includes the highest note sung by Geddy Lee on any studio album. The song fades out with a repeated chord sequence which returns later in Book 2 along with the sound of a beating heart. Okay, so they're giving you an idea of what Hemispheres is going to sound like. Yeah, Geddy Lee's scream there really put a strong exclamation point on this. And now that I think about Geddy Lee's voice, I go back to a time where it first kind of, I thought to myself, what do I make of this voice? This is the strangest sounding voice I've ever heard. But now, I can't imagine these great, fantastic tunes without that excellent sound signature of his voice. It's just grown on me now to the point where I just dig his voice, man. It's so well placed in all of this. It makes the experience of this Farscape Odyssey kind of song really, really endearing. I really like his voice now. Okay, Rush, their legacy. In '79, the Canadian government named them official ambassadors of music. They've won several Juno Awards, 7 Grammy nominations, an International Achievement Award, Group of the Year twice, and were inducted into the Juno Hall of Fame in '93. They were inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame in '94 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. Fantastic. Yeah, so well deserving. And you make your homeland of Canada very, very proud, man. You guys are excellent, excellent ambassadors, And, you're not exactly buried treasure up in Canada, but, you definitely, I think, paved the way for a lot of other great Canadian acts to kind of follow. You set a great, great example and a great bar and a precedent, and there are other great acts from Canada too, but I hope that another really, really big act come out of Canada in the capacity of Rush one day. I would say probably the Guess Who definitely are legendary in that ballpark. Tragically hip as well. There are others, Neil Young. Yeah, so there are others. I think Canada's in need of more. All right, man. So I just want to say, I'm just scrolling down my notes here. I mentioned already spoilers, just being careful in regards to what you guys comment about in the comment section. Giving me a lead-in sometimes is okay. I don't mind that. But sometimes fleshing out details will kind of spoil my first-time experience. And a part of the whole fun jaunt for me is the first-time experience. I know it can't always be avoided, but that's one of the fun elements for me in my classic rock exploration. So if you could be just a little bit more guarded in the future with details and that sort of thing, and just know that in the comments that I am reading and I am watching, so I don't want to go into it being spoiled too much. And you know what, if I am spoiled or if I've heard something before, I will let you know. I'm not going to sit here pretending that it's my first time experience and all that. I've read a few notes, for example, where I've said, hey, I've heard this before, and someone would then come in the comments and say something like, geez, man, is there any song that you haven't heard before? Well, look, man, I'm not going to sit here and pretend. If I've heard something, I'm just going to say, hey, I've heard it before. I don't know where, I might not know details, but I've heard it before. So I'm going to be straight up about it. What's wrong with that? Are you going to unsubscribe from me because I've heard a song before? Come on, man. So the way some people think, I don't know. But yeah, man, I'm going to be straight up and honest with you if I've heard something, But, this process that I'm going through, filling in the details and edifying the song, warrants a good reaction and warrants a spotlight as well, even if I have heard the song. And, going through the nuts and bolts and getting all of these little nuances about it is really, really intriguing as well. And recently I've changed my approach to things because I was going to not react to certain songs that I was familiar with. A good example of that is Immigrant Song. I've heard Immigrant Song a number of times, so I was going to pass it by. But a friend of mine, Paul, he recently taught me the value of going through the process of dissecting the song anyway, going through the process of shedding a spotlight on it, discovering how the artist came about it, the sacrifices they made, the creative elements that they put into it. So all of that definitely warrants a reaction, despite the fact that I've heard a song before. So I'm not going to take it for granted, even songs that I'm familiar with, and just pass them by. I will shed a spotlight of appreciation on them because they're deserving of it. Anyway, so that's where I'm at, where I'm approaching my reactions to songs that I do know, songs that I don't know, and songs that I get spoiled on, because I have been spoiled on a couple of songs lately, and I just wanted to kind of nip it in the bud and let you guys know that, you know, sometimes I do get spoiled. So just watch that in the future. Okay, enough of that, man. All right, so overall, man, this song, holy cow, I'm looking forward to part 2. What can I say? I like how it takes you on that trip and leaves you there wondering, okay, what's happened to this person? Did they survive getting sucked into the black hole? And obviously they did, because part 2's coming up. So being a fan back then, after this, you must have been just chomping at the bit, couldn't wait for Hemispheres to come out, part 2, and take up from where it left off, you know, following a storyline. So I'm really looking forward to that myself. So that reaction is going to be coming in the next couple of days for sure, man. So this was my reaction. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm definitely looking forward to continuing my exploration of Rush. So I got a couple of things coming up. Trying to finish my Led Zeppelin 3 before the middle of the month. That's not going to happen, but it'll be close. And because I'm adding 2 more songs onto it, and I've got a Canadian Rockers installment coming up and a Women of Rock installment coming up. So a couple of things going on there, man. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll catch you in part 2, Hemispheres, pretty soon. Take care.